Hello.
Hello.
Hi everyone. Thank you so much for joining us and deciding to spend some of your Sunday afternoon on the Sunday sofa. My name is Lia. I am a psychic medium, tarot reader, angel card reader, Reiki healer, trance medium, and I'm also studying psychic investigations at the moment. We have an amazing topic for you all today. But before we get into the topic, let me introduce you to the lovely ladies that we're with today. So we have got Polly and Becs. So over to you, Polly.
Hi there, my name is Polly and I work as a spiritual medium, tarot card reader, trance reader as well, and healer occasionally. And also Rahani, Reiki, and also do animal healing and communication. Lovely for you to join us today.
Hi guys, I'm Becs. It's lovely to be back, girls. I've missed you. It's been ages.
I know.
So I'm from bohemianbecs.co.uk, or you can follow me on Instagram at bohemianbecs and Facebook. I am an angel and tarot card reader, angelic Reiki master, and yeah, all-round hippie, to be fair.
You're in a van right now. You're living in your van, aren't you, Becs?
Yeah, I'm in my van, but it's parked on my drive because, you know, lockdown. Just my office at the moment.
Hi, Crystal. How are you?
Hi, Crystal.
Let us know where you're coming in from this afternoon. Thank you for joining us. So our topic today, we are going to be talking about the different works of a medium and psychics. And also we want to hear about your paranormal experiences as well. So have you felt something around you? Do you know spirit come near you? What do you feel? Have you had any crazy experiences with ghosts? Have you been on ghost hunts? Whatever it is, we want to know. So make sure you pop that in the comments as we talk today. And we're also going to be offering some free live readings. You know that these go out to the people that share and comment the most. Obviously, we want this to be as interactive as possible. So yeah, we'd love to hear all your comments. We'll just say a few hellos to everyone. So hi, Michelle.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Michelle.
Thanks for joining us. Okay, that's fine.
Oh, please comment and let us know where you're coming from and where you're all based at the moment. That'd be lovely. And please, if you're on here, if you could share, that would be absolutely brilliant, just so we can spread the love.
Exactly. So I'd be interested to hear a little bit more about your both experiences of how you first knew that you were a medium, or first knew that you were a psychic, or how you were into the cards and things like that. So I'll start with you, Becs. When did you first realise that you had some sort of ability or gift?
So first paranormal experience, I would say I was a child and I saw spirit two very specific times that stick in my head of seeing spirit, which I thought for a long time was just because my mum's house was haunted, and it's only been as I've got older and kind of studied spirit that I think it was probably more spirit coming in to visit me. But like so many psychics or mediums, I just hid it and I didn't want to be the weird child.
Yeah. How old were you?
Well, the first time I've got two kind of separate trains actually. I've got the first time that I feel like I communicated with angels. I remember vividly being only 4 or 5. And my mum and dad had had an argument and I was feeling really vulnerable and like sad at the time. And I think I'd done something with one of my sisters. Do you remember those VO5 hot oil sachet things?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I was fascinated why she had this on her desk and I was playing with it and I split it open and it spilled all over her homework and I tried to clear it up and it was the right mess. But I knew I was going to get into big trouble. So I was really worried. And I remember vividly hiding under my duvet thinking, oh my God, what happened? And I saw a blue flashing light, which was like blue and gold. And I heard the name Michael. And I remember thinking that it was my guardian angel. And I was 4, 4 or 5. I had no idea where this comes from. And it made me feel like I was going to be okay. I didn't. I got grounded. I got into a whole load of trouble. But I was okay with it. It didn't scare me so much. So that was my first experience with angels. And that, as I said, I was quite young. And whenever I felt like I was in trouble after that, I used to blink my eyes really quickly to try and see that light again and feel that kind of close. And I'd ask this Michael, who I didn't know who it was, to come and help me. but I wasn't in trouble much because I was actually a little bit of a goody two shoes. And then
I was a little bugger.
But then Spirit, I would say the first time I saw Spirit was I was 8, and again just saw a shadow in my bedroom, very similar to lots of children's experiences. I think that I'd woken up for no reason at all, and I saw a shadow sat next to my doll's house, and I knew it didn't want to hurt me, and I knew it didn't want to do anything. It was just there, but I was so scared. I couldn't move, I couldn't scream, and my sister and I had bunk beds, and I was poking her up the side of the bunk beds to try and get her to wake up. And eventually she did wake up, and as soon as she woke up, I looked back to say there's someone at our doll's house, and it was gone. So she was sad for me, and yeah, so just experiences like that, I suppose. But you deny it, don't you, for a long time, I think, as a teenager and all of that. And then I was always fascinated by the paranormal after that. And it's only as that kind of knowledge develops, I think, that you kind of go on to the investigations and stuff like that. And there's been some experiences that are just mind-blowing, and others, I mean, even though I'm in the field, and I'm sure you guys are the same, I would say to everybody to be really kind of open-minded but healthily skeptical about what you see. Always try and find normal explanations for things. But interesting experience.
Yeah. And I think it's really
We've got a few comments coming up there as well.
Oh, lovely. Hello, Sally. Thanks for joining us.
Hello, Sally.
And hi, Christine, as well. I saw your comment come up earlier.
Yeah, hi, Christine. And Michaela.
Hi, Michaela. And Becs, I think it's really interesting how you thought that you got the name Michael, and obviously Archangel Michael as well, and you wouldn't have known that when you were only 4.
Exactly. I mean, it's really interesting. Crystal said paranormal, I've had visual, DVP, physical, and dream visitations.
Wow.
Yeah, dream visitations are an interesting one as well, because
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I had something happen after just a few years ago, actually, but it was so vivid. And I think it's still interesting, even when you work in this field, to kind of stay open to what the experiences are. But I had my nan visit me in my dream, and it was so vivid. I woke up crying. It was such a lovely, lovely dream.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, Christine. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing, isn't it? I love speaking. It's like you ask a question, don't you? And then you're thinking of specific things, and then you've just talked about dreams, and Christine just talked about dreams, and then it's just popped in about this really. I'll tell you about the dream I had a while back. It was amazing. So my first, and I've said it on here before actually a while ago. My first actual experience. My mum was very, very psychic, a very I would say gifted psychic and medium. However, she didn't really, so I'm just going to turn my heater off. I'm roasting in here. She was very gifted. However, she never did anything with it really, apart from sort of psychically stalk me, which was quite concerning. But she, obviously I seemed to get it from her. And I was 3, nearly 4. And I was one of those kids that was absolutely terrified of the dark. I was terrified of my own shadow. I was terrified of the lot. And anyway, I had this bedroom in Leicestershire, and in my bedroom there was a cupboard without a door on it, which was weird, really. I don't know why it never had a door on it, but it didn't. So anyway, it was like built into the actual walls, and I used to see, and I hated it, right? I used to see children playing. There's 2 children playing, and like an old colonel in there, okay, and the colonel just used to nod his head, and the children used to be playing, but they never came out of the cupboard. So I was terrified of the cupboard, but never told anyone, because I never did. I never told anyone, not until years and years later. Anyway, that was sort of that. I sort of got used to it and just turned the other way. But then one night, my dad used to have to sit next to my door every night because I wouldn't go to sleep because I was so afraid of the dark. Which is really weird because I love dark now. And so anyway, I woke up in the middle of the night, and a bit like you, Beck, sort of woke up for absolutely no reason. And I was sort of facing the wall, and I thought, I know that if I open my eyes, my dad's not going to be there anymore, you know, and I was sort of a little bit scared of opening my eyes. So I thought, no, I need to, because I felt like there was somebody in the room, and I was so tiny, but I can remember it so well, that this gentleman was sitting on the chair where my dad was, but he was sort of sitting, you know, when somebody looks deep in thought, sort of just like that, sort of looking towards the floor. And then obviously it wasn't my dad. My dad, love him, isn't a slim fella, and you know, he had a beard. And the guy that's sitting there was a very, very slim, tall man with round glasses and a bald head. And but in my head, I sort of knew I should be frightened, but I wasn't frightened. And I said, "Who are you?" in my head. and this guy said to me, "I'm your granddad." So then I sort of felt all right about it. Went back to sleep. Woke up in the morning and said to my mum, I had a really funny dream. And she said, what did you dream? I said, well, it wasn't my dad sitting near the door. It was like a man. And she said, what did he look like? And I said, well, he was tall and thin, and he had round glasses on and a bald head. Obviously in little person language, you know, that sort of thing. And so she brought in a photo, and she said, and she showed me, and I said, that's him. And she said, that's your granddad. Oh. And because he'd died in the war, obviously I never had met him. I'd never met him. I didn't know what he looked like. I'd probably at that age hadn't even asked about him, because I just knew I hadn't got a granddad. I hadn't got, you know, both my granddads had already passed away. So that was my first real experience. Like I said, that bit didn't scare me, weirdly, but the people in the cupboard used to scare me to death. Absolutely scare me to death. But just going back to the dream, at the beginning
Crystal's comment out there, I saw my great grand, felt and had knowing from first love, heard my nan's voice in real time, and after she passed and granddad came to visit in a dream, all amazing experiences.
They really are. But this dream that I had was at the beginning of the first lockdown, and my mum's passed away 18 years ago, just over 18 and a half years ago. And I dreamt that every single year, this is in real life, we actually have usually a big family get together up in Leicestershire. And obviously this year we're not. And anyway, I dreamt that we were at this family get together. We usually like hire the top of a pub or something, because there's like quite a few of us. And so I dreamt that we were in this place, and all the kids, her grandchildren, and you know, great grandchildren now as well, were there. And even my daughter, who's now had a baby and it's 10 months old, at the time she obviously hadn't had the baby yet, and I dreamt he was 6 months old, which would make sense with Christmas, if that makes sense. I knew he had brown eyes and wavy hair. He has actually got brown eyes. He hasn't got wavy hair yet. But we're all there and we're eating our meal, and in she walks, my mum. And honestly, it wasn't just like a dream. And she came in and she said hello, and we said, what are you doing here? And she said, I've just come to see you. And the next minute she's sitting on the floor with all of the children that she's not met, and playing with them, because she used to be a teacher, so she, you know, was just very good with young children. And so she's sitting playing with all the children, including the baby that hadn't been born yet. And then she got up and she said, I don't want any of you to worry about this COVID, because you're all going to be all right. Oh, wow. And I was like, really? And she said, yeah, please don't worry. And then she said, right, I'm going to go now. But I remember touching her. I remember actually physically touching her.
And did she?
And it's so vivid. It's like a memory.
Did she look the way
exactly the same? Yeah, exactly the same.
That's what the same with my nan's visitation after she passed. I felt her, I could touch her, I could hug her, I felt her kiss my cheek, and it was so real. There was no dream about it, no imagination. It felt physical. It was really bizarre. Yeah. And Kelly said hello. Hello, Kelly. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, Kelly. Lots of love to you too.
I don't know this guy's name, but afternoon.
This is
I can't. 3 something.
3x to G. Also, Polly, I think interesting the fear of the dark. I was terrified of the dark. Hi, Lauren. Thanks for joining us. I used to take my sisters used to have to come to the toilet with me if it was dark, even if it was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. If it was dark or I had to go in the corridor, I would not go by myself. My sisters had to come and stand outside the door. I was terrified.
Isn't it really funny? Because now, I mean, I live in Portsmouth in a sort of very built up road. And I walk the dogs at stupid o'clock at night, and I just say hello to all the druggies.
You get used to it. Hi, Zach. Oh, is that Zach?
If I say hello to
Zach. I thought it was you, Zach.
Hi, Zach.
I didn't see your picture. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, I'm not even remotely bothered. I just think if I say hello to them, then obviously they're not going to jump on me or anything.
Maybe that's the thing you should tell like spirit as well. If you say hello to them, then they won't be so scared, you know?
Yeah.
Michelle has said, I sense spirit, but I've never seen anything. Something I've always done is what I'm finding out now is automatic writing. A lot of this is pages and pages and symbols. I can't see the rest of the comment, but yeah, automatic writing.
When I was a child, now it's words and names.
Words and names. Wow. That's really interesting. Automatic writing, something I've dabbled with. I've always dabbled with it, but I find it really fun. Some of it makes sense, and other parts I'm like, oh, maybe I'll come back to that. It'll make sense in a few years or something. I don't know.
Yeah. But I think that's when you're doing it properly, because if it's not, you know, if your head's in it, if your head is in that, your consciousness, you know, it's almost better to me that it didn't make sense, that maybe it does later on, because at least you know then it is a genuine channel.
Yeah.
Would you say automatic writing is kind of a tenet of trance, Polly? A similar thing, because you're not there, you're kind of removing yourself slightly?
It's definitely altered state, and it's altered state work. You won't usually be in a full trance, but you would be very much blending with an energy, if that makes sense. And yeah, very much what they sometimes want you to know. It might just not be anything you need to know. It might just be that they want to channel something through you, but it is a form of channeling, basically.
Yeah.
I think it's quite popular in America, isn't it? Channeling.
What about you? Yeah. What are your experiences? What were your first experiences?
I didn't really have many, so I don't have psychic mediums in my family, really. I found out only a few years ago that my gran on my dad's side was a healer and very psychic, but I only found that out recently. So growing up, I never really had any experiences. I never even really thought about spirit world or ghosts or anything like that. I just remember once when I was around 6 years old, that again in the middle of the night, and it seems to be like quite a common theme that these things are happening in the middle of the night, maybe because we're too focused on other things during the day that we don't see it. But I remember I had these chest of drawers, and they were so full that they were open half the time. And I just remember seeing this little white, it just literally looked like Casper, going in and out the drawers. And I was wide awake just watching it. And it was going in and out. It was almost like it was playing with me. And I was so young at the time, I was just like fascinated by it. And I never ever told anyone about it. And then I just forgot about it. And I was always scared of the dark, like you both were as well. And obviously now we sit in the dark for trance, don't we?
Yeah.
But yeah, I was really scared of the dark as well. And it wasn't until about 5 years ago when I went for a reading, and the woman said, this time next year, you're going to be doing what I'm doing. And she went on about all this stuff that I'd be doing, and I didn't believe her. At the time, I was a bit skeptical, and this was only 5 years ago. So it's funny how it's changed so quickly from that moment that she said that. It was literally like the week after that I started going to her classes, and I was like shocked myself. So it's really interesting. I want to ask you actually something about Polly. Did you feel a bit of pressure from your parent or from your mum to be like a psychic or something because she did it?
No, not at all, because she never did it, if that makes sense. She was very natural. The stories that she said, I mean, like, she would have known what I was doing before I even thought about doing it, you know. I mean, it was that significant. But also lots of things that happened that she did, the knowledge that she had that she couldn't have had unless that she was really psychic.
But she never worked as a psychic or a medium?
No, never. However, she would have wiped the floor with a lot of mediums if she would have done it, if that makes sense. Yeah, it's funny because I've found out recently, well, I say more recently in the last few years, that there's an actual tarot reader in my dad's side of the family, which I didn't know about. And the other thing I found out was the fact that one of my relatives on my dad's side opened the first condom factory.
Well, there you go.
Wow. That's so
Which
funny.
is nothing spiritual at all. However,
That's
I
still an
thought I'd just chuck
interesting
that one
fact
in.
to have in the family.
Yeah. So Christine said, when I was going through a rough time, I woke up with two white arms rolling me in my bed. Heard them say they were my mum and my grandmother. How lovely.
Oh,
Yeah.
and I think
That's really
it does
beautiful.
happen when we're going through a rough time, doesn't it? When we're
Yeah.
they know that we are, so they come close and try and be with us.
Zach says,
Wow.
good show, girls. Loving your work. Keep it up. Thank you, Zach. Thanks for
Thank
joining
you,
us.
Zach.
Next one day, what do you think?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Lynn,
do our loved ones know we want them to come through? Yeah, I think they
often.
do. Yeah, but I don't think that you can pull them forward, because I think sometimes you're not in the right space to have that conversation. Does that make sense?
I do call them forward. I ask people who they want. Not a lot of mediums do that, but I will put the thought out there. I mean, there's always a chance that they're not going to come because they're maybe not ready to come through yet. I might not be the right medium for them. It might not be the client may not be in the right emotional space. And we have to remember that, because if somebody's recently passed away, you might want something so much, but they might not be quite ready to come through yet. They might just be going through their healing time up there. The person down here might be the person in spirit may not think it's appropriate or an appropriate time for the person down here emotionally for them to come through. However, it's only probably happened 3 times ever in a long, long time that I haven't been able to bring somebody's spirit through.
So you do ask for them.
Hi,
Kelly.
Hi, Kelly. Thanks.
Hi, Kelly.
Interesting. Hi, Heidi.
Heidi. Sat in the car waiting for her son to finish work.
Thanks for
joining us.
Heidi, tell him to be ages and then you can watch the whole show.
Yeah, and tell us some of your paranormal experiences as well, which would be really interesting.
Yeah, if you've had any freaky goings on or been on even a ghost hunt as well, or a paranormal investigation, because do you know what? I have been on loads of paranormal investigations, bearing in mind I can't watch a horror film by myself.
Neither can I.
Which always amazes my other half.
It's because you know it's possible. That's what I think.
And I think it's the music, isn't it? The music proper freaks me out, right? However, I've been on so many ghost hunts, right? And I have never been scared on one, never once. And I've had some experiences when I've actually thought that the mediums that are leading it, for example, I mean, I've been on ones where I have been the medium, but I've been on a lot prior to that where I wasn't the medium and I was just going with my friends who were also either psychics or mediums that just for the experience, really we're going to have a look around. And the only one time I've ever been scared, right, is in fact we went to somewhere called North Fort, and I think that's in Weymouth, right? And there's a couple of things in life that really freak me out, and one of them is mannequins, right?
There's loads there.
I hate mannequins. And anyway, it was all obviously pretty much pitch black, and we had our torches and stuff. And so me and my friend Alison went into this room called the hanging room. And we went in there, and what I'm about to say, it's a little bit inappropriate, right? I went in there and banged into something, right? Obviously me thinking, because I knew where Alison was and my friend Sarah's, I knew that where they were, so I knew I hadn't bumped into them. And it was literally a mannequin hanging upside down, like a hanging room. But the funniest thing is that when we shone the torch on him, that freaked me out even more, because there's this sort of, waxy face looking at me. But he looked like a 70s porn star, because he had this like moustache that went down like that, and I was like, like this. Honestly, my legs were. Well, I'm just using my imagination, and so I was just like, I mean, they were obviously in fits of laughter because they just thought it was the funniest thing ever that I'd freaked out about a mannequin, and we'd gone there, to obviously find spirit. But yeah, no, that was the only thing that's ever scared me. I've been down, you know, in Widley, down the tunnels. There's been bats flying all around my head. I'm like, whoa, bats, they're so cool, you know. But the only other thing that's actually concerned me on a ghost hunt is how shocking a couple of the mediums that have been leading them have been, and trying to scare people
on purpose,
when actually what they're saying isn't real. And a good medium will know that it's not real, and you know, saying that they're possessed and things, and they're not possessed, you know. And I'm just standing there thinking, this is absolutely shocking.
Have you ever been at any of the ghost hunts where there's like a big table and there's been table tilting or moving?
Again, I really like to trust who's round a table with me. It's like if I'm on a spirit board, I want to trust the people that are with me, that they're not going to be pushing it or influencing it or starting to ask questions about their boyfriend or girlfriend, you know, which often does come up. And you think, really, we're a paranormal investigation, you know? And I've been like with people table tipping, and they've got their fingers underneath the top of the table. I'm thinking, you're pushing it. But like I said, that's why you know, with like you guys, I'd know that neither of you would cheat, and I'd rather nothing happened on a paranormal investigation than a lie.
Yeah, same. And I think most people would, to be fair, but I'm the same as you, Polly. I've been on some where you're sat there thinking, really, I've not paid for kind of time to be scared or be part of like the Blair Witch Project. I've paid to actually see if you're going to experience. And to be honest, mostly I've paid to look around the building in the dark by myself because I want to feel if there's anything there rather than the other stuff. I just quite like exploring and seeing all of those spaces.
So how saying it took 2 years for my mum to come through, and she chose Polly. It was the best message at the time I needed it. Oh, brilliant.
Oh, thank you, Heidi.
That's lovely.
Yeah, and I think sometimes the spirit person does choose the medium. I think
that's true.
Who has to match, doesn't it? Hi, Asta.
Hello. Thank you for joining us.
Hello.
So, Polly, was it not yourself that was in, was it a trance demonstration or something, and someone ended up sucking someone's toe?
No, that wasn't me.
Okay, I think it was Nigel then. It must have been Nigel. And he was in a trance demonstration where the lights were out. It was like a seance, so they had a red light on. And apparently this person had like a spirit person speaking through them. And he got on the floor and started sucking someone's toe.
I think that sounds like a bit of a fetish. No, I don't think that sounds like it's anything spiritual.
That seems weird, isn't it?
That is a bit weird. I think. Yeah. What would you be like if that was your toe, though? You'd be like, okay.
You'd like kick him in the face, like, what are you doing? That's very odd.
I know what I'd say. I can't say those words on here.
To be fair, though, I'm going just weird things that happened on paranormal investigations. And this was actually a really quiet investigation. It was at Bodmin Jail in Cornwall years ago. But I got touched on the bum. And it was so bizarre. And every time you say it to people, they're like, yeah, that was someone having a laugh. And I'm like, there's no way that could have been any physical person, because we were all at the time holding hands. We were in a... Sorry?
Must have been a very cheeky spirit.
It must have been, because it was just the weirdest... It was a very definite touch, but there was about this much space between me and the wall behind me, so there was no way somebody else could have done it. I had my sister on one side and my niece on the other, so it wasn't either of them. But yeah, it was weird. It must have just been a bit of a kinky spirit. Thankfully it wasn't sucking my toe, but he was touching me up.
Oh my gosh. That's funny. So just going on to talking about the different works as a medium then, so obviously we've touched on a bit of mediumship, so obviously that's connecting with the spirit world or any entities that might be up there, like angels and things like that. Going into a psychic then, so that's someone who reads energy, isn't it? Can read people's minds, reading energy. So Becs, coming to you as a card reader, how do you get your information as a psychic?
Again, I feel like I do work more psychically than mediumistically. I always say to people that if I did get spirit coming in, and I have done development to recognize when it comes in, and I would absolutely give it, but that isn't my strength. That isn't, how I work. I do work more psychically, and it is about reading the energy. I I don't know that I'd say one is better than the other, because I think to be honest, I think they give different things to different people. And often, like Polly was saying, when people are asking about their boyfriends and girlfriends, often that works really well with reading psychically, because you're reading the energy that is around somebody, around that person, around their person, and that's what you get from the cards.
Which is an appropriate time to ask, but not on a paranormal investigation.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So in terms of how I get my information, I tend to see things, I hear things, clairsentience as well. I get a feeling like you often get that overwhelming feeling of despair or depression if someone's going through that sort of experience, or grief. And yeah, just
the knowing.
Yeah, it's kind of the knowing, like if you're reading the cards, and I'm convinced as well that you and I could read for the same client and have the same cards but give them different readings, because I'm drawn to different things on the card that tell me, although you can say, oh, that card means A and that card means B, when you're in that reading you pick up on the energy differently, and you're picking up on different things within that reading, which is why I like tarot, because there's so much symbolism that's kind of buried within the cards. But yeah, I think it's important to remember that you could go to two different readers and have different.
You can get similar things. Yeah, you can have a different experience, but there's often similar things that would come up there, isn't there? That a similar theme, but it depends on, I think, on how intuitive a psychic is, because you can pick up on maybe more or go some. It's like some may read the cards symbolically, and some may really be working intuitively, where they're picking up more on the future of something, or where something's going to go, maybe what you have to do to change your situation to be able to get to that destination. There's a lot of people that I mean, I've been for a lot of readings in my life, and some I've just thought, okay, right, that's what that card, they're saying, well, that card means this, that card means that card means that, and I'm thinking, well,
the card means.
You've got to really, I think, to be a really good reader, you have to be able to use your intuition to look further into it. Sometimes it is about what you need to change as a person that's actually important, isn't it? That people might not be picking up on. It might be the fact that you have to, I don't know, leave one part of your life behind to actually find your new part of your life, but it's going to make you successful. So there's a lot to a psychic, I think, and they're all very different, aren't they?
I see. I as I said, I don't think you can say a psychic reading is better than a mediumship reading. I genuinely think they bring different things, and you need different things at different times as well. So I think that you have to go where you're drawn, what energy kind of draws you, really.
So Becs, for people out there that are studying the cards themselves or want to delve into it, what would you tell them? What would you say to those people that want to get into it?
Just that, really. Play with your cards, but get to know your cards. I think that's really important. And also getting to know your intuition as well, because I'm sure we've said this before on the show, it's a bit like a muscle. The more you trust it and the more you act on your intuition, it's almost like it grows a bit more. But I think you really need to have some cards and just play with them, get to know them, pick a card for a day, every day for a month, and see how that card relates to you. Do a journal on it, that sort of thing, and kind of.
Can we say hello to Anita, because that's my sister-in-law?
Hi,
Anita. I know you're smirking.
Hi, Anita.
We've got one from Terry as well. Hello, ladies. Sorry I'm late. I'm shared at the start of the show, but I was in the supermarket. Thank you for joining us, Terry.
Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. Rich has just told us you've been helping out so much with Facebook, so we really appreciate all of your help and admin that you've been doing behind the scenes, my love. Thank you.
She's a superstar.
Sure.
Yeah, of course. Let's pull Terry a card.
Right, Terry, we're going to pull you a card for all your help.
I'm going to pull one from the Animal Tarot. Let's see what comes out of there.
Oh, interesting.
Okay, I've got mine. Shall I go first?
Yeah.
Okay, Terry, this one really jumped out of the pack for you. I don't know if you can see it. Is that where my webcam is? It's the King of Earth. So the King of Earth is success, things working out for you. Kind of the King of Earth as well is about accepting opportunities that you're offered and really taking your time to shine as well. So yeah, which you're probably doing with Richard, helping out and doing all of that. But also something separate to that, I feel as though you're needing to kind of get quite organised and logical and quite practical, doing some practical organisation and admin behind the scenes, Terry, at the minute, just to get your, I always want to say to get your life in order, but it's not quite as dramatic as that. But I just feel that you're making plans, my love. You've got places you're going to go and you've got things that you're going to do. And I feel like next year is going to be really, especially the first part of next year is going to be really good for you. But you just need to sort of do some, I feel like you need to do some planning. You're in that planning stage. You need to get organised and vision board and that sort of thing. But next year I feel is really going to be good for you, especially the first part.
It's so funny because you literally have just read my card. And it's a green one as well.
And mine.
Yeah, it's a green card.
Oh, lucky leprechaun.
This is going back to what we just said about having two different readers, but maybe having the same message almost. So this card is all about helper of abundance. So it's saying that you have been so helpful in someone else's life at the moment, and that is literally just what Richard's just been saying.
Yeah.
So know that that is being acknowledged, and also it's saying that you've got a lot to do, but you need to get organised first. So I feel like you're one of those people that just do what comes to you and you say yes to everything, but it's actually just making plans and going for your goal. Once the planning is complete, it's saying you can roll up your sleeves and get to work. Your guardian angels surround you and are ready to help out. So it's basically just go for it. Make sure that everything is planned. Don't take on too much. Obviously, you're helping a lot of people, I feel like, at the moment. But it's being acknowledged, and a lot of luck coming your way as well. So it's really
I like those cards.
Lovely. Yeah, I like those cards.
Right. Well, I've got the Chariot and the Wheel of Fortune, which are really positive cards. Now, this is saying that there's going to be an opportunity, apart from the one you're doing already, there's going to be an opportunity that's coming forward for you, Terry, that you're going to sort of have, it feels like it all rushes ahead very, very quickly for you. And this is saying that you have to sort of get a little bit of balance here, okay? A bit like what you both said, there's an element here of feeling, getting to the point where you might feel a little bit overwhelmed, okay? So it's making sure that you get your life in balance, and if you're going to do more than one thing, that you sort of organise that well, okay? But the Wheel of Fortune comes in here saying that, like, expect a sudden positive change in your life. You can now move forward and make great progress. So this is really positive. Anything you're going to go and do now, or anything you're hoping to do now, it's definitely all working in your favour, Terry. So basically what they said.
She said organised is my middle name, and there was an earlier message as well. She said that she has a goal, so good luck with your goal, Terry. I think it's going to be really successful based on the cards that we've got.
Well, they were pretty good.
Yeah.
Great.
Good afternoon, ladies. This is from Claire. My first time joining you, and I'm enjoying this very much. Well, thank you for joining us, Claire.
Thank you, Claire.
Please put a comment. Tell us any paranormal experiences you've had, or any really interesting evidence you've had from a medium or a psychic. Crystal has said, I'd love to do a proper paranormal investigation at Jamaica Inn on Bodmin Moor. Oh my God, yes. I've just got the Jamaica Inn novel upstairs. And we used to live in the West Country, so I've been there, and it is amazing. They've got this really cool. Have you guys been there at all?
No.
I haven't, no.
It's an old smuggler's inn on Bodmin Moor, and it is absolutely amazing. They've got a smuggler's museum that there's so much energy there, and we just stopped there for lunch once, and you could just feel the energy. So I'll come with you, Crystal.
Can we all go?
Yeah,
we have a trip of it.
West Country trip. That would be cool.
Oh my God, we'd have an SPTV day out.
Oh yeah.
What do you think, Richard?
Okay, Richard, we've put in our wish list.
Yeah, that's what
Jamaica Inn.
He's being very quiet. That means that he either disagrees or he's disappeared.
One or the other.
Oh, okay. He probably was talking, but his microphone was off.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Oh, yes.
that would be brilliant. So since we're talking about paranormal investigations and seeing things, we've got a little clip to show you. So I guess in this clip you can see some things. So look closely. We might need to play more than once.
Is this the one of me in trance? So this is me in trance. Now this was taken at the studio, Spiritual Studios. I was in trance, and there was some orbs. If you watch how they behave, the orbs, it's only about 20 seconds, 30 seconds long. So just keep your eye out and see what you can see. 2 minutes. It's clearly longer than I said. Right, 2 minutes.
You were in trance, so you didn't know.
I was gone.
Time flies.
Okay, we can't see the clip.
Ah, there we go. Oh, wow. Polly, you look good as a blonde. So there's the orb going over you.
It literally goes right over my head.
And you can tell that's not dust, because normally dust comes towards the camera, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's really interesting as well. The arc it took, it did seem to go over you almost, didn't it?
So watch this one.
And this one, oh, it's almost going in a square.
So it goes up and across, shoots right across.
That's amazing.
Oh yeah, it comes out of the lady there.
Ooh, it goes right past the camera.
Screen capture. Oh, wow. Is this how orbs normally appear when you sort of do screen grabs and things? Because people have said, you know, you can zoom in and see different things on. It's amazing, isn't it?
That one was really obvious. Wow.
Did you see that one?
Yeah, that was. Really strange. Oh, how spooky. That was cool.
So we think that one of them at the end might have been a little insect there right at the end, if anyone thought that might have been something, but the first one was the little
we weren't sure because I didn't actually see any insects in there, but you know, if you guys let us know at home what you think.
Yeah, what are your thoughts?
Someone or something just blows sort of a whistle on my face. That wakes me up sometimes. That happens with me. Oh, how interesting.
Yeah,
I have had the weird sort of experiences, like I said earlier, of, you know, you just wake up and it's almost like, you know, that there's spirit that wants to communicate. It's I have had that happen a couple of times, which is really interesting.
It's almost like that feeling of, like, you know, when someone's watching you, and you know that they're watching you.
Yeah.
Like that sensation, isn't it?
Well, they probably are, because you're gorgeous, Leah.
Well, yeah, there is that.
As long as they don't suck your toe.
Or tap your bum.
Michelle says, wow.
So just going back to orbs, so do you believe that different coloured orbs mean different things?
A lot of people do. However, I've not really seen that many different coloured ones, I've got to be honest. Michelle says that's amazing. Never seen one in that shape, the last one.
Yeah.
Terry. Such a perfect arc.
With the first orb. Yeah, that's what I felt, Terry. It did sort of go straight up and over. Across the movement. The second orb was amazing. The third could possibly be an insect. We will never know.
No.
See, the third I thought was. Yeah, it was interesting because the one that you're saying could possibly be an insect did go straight across the screen. You know, it was a very straight line, which if it was an insect, that's the way they would fly, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Said, wow, those orbs were very clear. I'm the same as Polly. I've never seen different coloured ones. Kelly agrees as well. Brilliant.
Yeah,
it's funny because on my phone, if I take a picture of my phone, sometimes there's a little green dot that comes up, right? And loads of people I've put photos on Facebook, and they've said, "Oh, have you seen that green orb?" And I say it comes up on every photo, and I think it's just something to do with my flash or something. I don't think it's got anything to do with anything else.
Actually, when there's a light coming in, because that happens to me when it's sunny outside, and the sun is reflecting off it. It's like this little green ball jumping on the screen. Yeah, I've seen that before as well. So
I've never experienced them.
Very slightly changing the subject. I wanted to come to Polly. Can you tell us a little bit more about animal communication?
Animal communication. Well, animal communication is, when I say it's the same but slightly different, it depends in the way you work. So animals, when they communicate, it's actually very similar. You've got to imagine, if I speak to you two, I'm having a normal conversation with you, okay? However, if I'm empathically in some trauma or pain, you two might pick up on it and think, oh, I know there's something wrong with Polly, don't know quite sure what it is, but you might psychically pick something up, if that makes sense. If you'd passed away, obviously I can't have that normal conversation with you, so I'm using my mediumistic skills, right? Now, with an animal, obviously they don't speak, like we do, but they might have different behaviors that we can observe. We might know if they're in pain or not comfortable because we know that animal, if that makes sense, that pet. But when you communicate with an animal, it's very similar to whether they're alive or not alive, if that makes sense, because it's like using mediumistic skills to speak to your animal, but they tend to show you in pictures rather than words, if that makes sense. So you tend to be using more of your clairvoyant skills, if that makes sense, because but bearing in mind though, they can use any of your clairs, any of your senses. I've picked up before with an animal that the dog had an iron deficiency, because I could taste iron in my mouth. Right. So imagine sucking an iron tablet. It's not particularly nice, right? That's what it sort of tasted like. So that is clairgustance, basically. Clairgustance is clear tasting. But they tend to show you in pictures and timelines, if that makes sense. If I was asking, because when I do communicate with an animal, first of all, I have to bond with the animal, because you imagine, like an animal, a dog will maybe go and sniff another dog's bum, and that's them communicating, if that makes sense, right? Well, I don't tend to do that. So I have to build up a rapport with the animal. And first of all, so I'll ask like positive questions. So I always teach, when I teach this, so it's like always teaching for the animal communicator to make that bond. So you might ask, what do you like eating? Dogs love to tell you that, okay? Where do you sleep? And they might show you their bed. They might show you that they're actually not happy because their owners just moved the bed under the stairs. They don't like it there. They liked it where it was before, for example. And it might show me two different places and make me feel two different emotions with that. So it's very different, unless you're very clairvoyant, in the fact that if you're a natural clairvoyant, then you'll see things really easily from them. But you tend to feel their emotion, you tend to feel their pain empathically, you tend to feel their joy, what they like, who they like. They often can't wait to tell you that they love the teenage boy that lives at home or something like that, or that they're very much connected to one person, or and so they tend to do, it's more visual, much more visual, if that makes sense. But you do tend to feel their emotions, their feelings and pain within
really
your body.
Wow. And is there any animals that you feel is easier to read than another?
The worst animals that I've read for are sausage dogs.
Particular breed.
No, that's honestly, sausage dogs are a nightmare to deal with. Not all, okay, but a lot. And that's the only time I've ever got bitten is by a sausage dog. When I've gone out to a location to communicate. And most animals will want to tell you things, or want to communicate. The only time they don't, or they can lie, right? And the usual ones that will lie are a dog, because even though they might be in a situation, they don't want to get their owner into trouble.
No way. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
So
so they're so
over the
loyal.
owner.
Yeah.
Wow.
Even if, say, I don't know, even if they've been sort of not that well treated, for example, they're often very loyal, because that's the thing, that's what they think they have. That's all they think they have. It's not all the time, but often if it's going to be anything that doesn't tell the truth, it will be a dog.
And can you tell when it's lying?
Yeah, because you can get round it and trick them. It's like working with a child, really. But, you know, or certain things they've said don't add up to them saying that they're happy with their owner or that sort of thing. Obviously, as a communicator, you have to be very careful, because it's the owner that is hiring me, if that makes sense, to go and go to them. And often it's a last resort, because conventional medicine hasn't worked, or conventional something conventional hasn't worked, because, you know, they've gone to the vet, they've I don't know, maybe changed their diet, or they've done this or they've done that, and actually what is wrong with the dog is the fact that somebody may have left home, relationship may have split up, you know. There's lots of things that can affect an animal, just like they can affect a child, and people don't realize that. They just think, oh, it's a dog.
Owners taking it to the vet quite a few times, and they've given antibiotics and they still don't know what's wrong with it. That's when they would contact you. Wow. Interesting.
One dog I went to had spinal meningitis and was going to be put down 2 days later.
Yeah.
And it's only just passed away in the last year at an old age for a whippet. But this was like going back a good few years now, and the healing and communication helped the dog. And like I said, you can't help everything. It's like you can't help every person, if that makes sense. But that dog ended up living for 6 more years than it should have.
Wow, just because of that maybe one communication. Brilliant.
Aww.
Amazing. Sally's saying, I see colours floating like orbs, have done so since a child. I got sent to Moorfields Eye Hospital and they gave me glasses and I still see them. Oh my goodness.
To be fair to Sally, that is interesting. That's very similar to what I felt I saw when I used to say about seeing the angel Michael, the blue and the gold colour. And that's how I used to get to see them again when I felt like I was going to get into trouble, was by blinking my eyes, and then I would see the coloured orbs. I don't see them anymore, but that's how I felt I communicated with angels as a child, Sally. So that's really interesting.
And it's funny that you say that. So I get little like flickers, and I always like turn around and there's nothing there, but it's definitely little sparkles around.
Yeah, sparkles. Yeah.
And yesterday I went for an eye test because I want to see if I need glasses. And they asked me, do you ever see like do you ever have floaters, or do you see any like sparkling lights? And I was thinking, yeah, but I'm not gonna see it.
It's energy, not anything wrong with my eyes.
I was like, he'll think I'm crazy.
Heidi just said, loyal through and through. Not sure you would get much response from my American bulldog. He's deaf, and when he did hear, I'm sure he doesn't understand English.
Well, I don't think there's any language in this.
Yeah, is there a language barrier?
No, because if you think I've got a lot of clients from a lot of different cultures, and from a lot of different countries, and they can speak English, obviously, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to communicate with them. But they're not English people, and their relatives are coming through and speaking to me in a language that I know.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know if you've heard
it's almost like the language barrier is. Yeah.
Well, I guess it's like up there, it's a communication, it's a universal language. They're going to be using a language that we would understand. If it's just as if I went to a Spanish reader, and their I don't know, my relatives didn't know Spanish, or they should have to communicate in the way that they communicated with her. So it would be like, it's like an animal won't speak necessarily English because it might have been brought up in Romania, for example, but it doesn't matter.
And also, that comment read that the dog was deaf. Would that matter? No,
because I used to have a deaf dog.
Really? And you would still be able to speak to it?
I mean,
just understand each other.
Yeah, and I think it's harder to communicate with your own animal anyway, because you've got an emotional attachment. It's like doing your own tarot cards. You'll see the death card and think, oh my God, right, something's all going to come to a massive end. However, if I gave you two a reading and got the death card, it would maybe just mean like it's an end of a period of your life. There's something new coming, and it's obviously depends on what's after that and what's around it. To what the reading actually means. Guys, I'm just going to have to go and get a drink of water because my throat is so dry. I will be back in a minute. I've finished one glass. I won't be a minute.
Okay.
Well, Christine said if a cat isn't treated well, it can sometimes leave the owner for a different owner, which I think is really true. Cats don't have the same loyalty. However, we used to have a cat. My mum, when we grew up, we had, I don't know, 5 cats at one point. And we had a ginger Tom who was called Garfield. And we'd got him from a farm, and he was kind of a bit of a gypsy cat. And he used to actually go around our whole like little village and stay in different houses. And he was treated really well at every single one of the houses, but he just didn't ever stay in one place. And the only way we found out, because we thought he was our cat, and the only way we found out is he came home one day. He'd sort of disappeared every so often for a couple of days. He came home one day and half his tail was missing. But it had been bandaged. It had been amputated by a vet. So obviously someone had got him some treatment. So we put like adverts up about the cat, and eventually, we established that he had like 4 or 5 different homes, and this other person had paid for him to have this vet treatment because they'd been feeding him for 3 years and thought that he was theirs. So cats have no loyalty.
No.
And even if they are treated well, they just have no loyalty. But
that cat probably had insurance from every one of its owners.
Yeah, I know. Could you imagine? And he was so funny because he used to always, we found out afterwards, once we found out about all these owners, he always spent Christmas and Easter at our local vicarage. So it was almost like he was a little bit spiritual. We'd go to church for the holidays. Bless him. So, I wish I'd known Polly then. I could have asked what he was thinking. What he was playing at.
So has anyone else got any other experiences, whether it's paranormal or connecting with spirit or anything at all? Let us know in the comments if you've got anything that you've experienced, because we would love to hear about it.
Oh, has anybody read that?
I was just saying,
already?
Polly, about my gypsy cat. He had about 4 different owners. He was treated really well at every house, but he was a bit of a gypsy, and he came back home one day after being gone for a couple of days, and he had half his tail missing, but it had been dressed and treated by a vet. So we put up posters and established that, he had about 4 or 5 different owners. And the other owner had been feeding him for about 3 years, and he'd hurt his tail, and they'd taken him to the vets, and they'd paid for all this treatment. But he also used to go to church on Easter and Christmas. He used to go to the local vicarage for his dinner. So the whole town felt like they owned my little Garfield.
How lovely.
Cats have no loyalty.
Polly's cat's got no tail.
Yeah, it hasn't.
Oh,
puss.
Christine, so true about cats having no loyalty. I have 4.
No,
yeah,
they stay where they're meant to, or where they want to.
One of my old cats that's at my ex-partner's house, that's moved out and moved in with this elderly lady who's got a dog, and obviously it's got the life of Riley. It's the size of a house, this cat.
Oh my goodness. Wow. I feel like we should get Christine a card. Christine.
Yeah, I was just thinking that I wanted to give Christine a card, actually.
Oh, okay, it's meant to be then. Right, Christine, this is for you.
Okay, Christine. Shall I go first? I've picked mine already. My cards are literally jumping out of my deck today. I've got the Hermit card for you, my love, which is time for self-reflection, a little bit of time on your own. I also feel as well, I don't know if because of lockdown, maybe you've been having a little bit of isolation as well. Obviously, everyone's kind of having that this year. But I actually feel for you, my love, that you've been exploring sort of different aspects of your spirituality within that. And really kind of maybe not reading, but like getting to know yourself, like almost as though you're kind of going within and really connecting with yourself again. And I feel like that's going to really help you moving forward, because I feel like you're kind of remembering the strength that you have. I don't know if that means anything to you, Christine, but that's what I'm feeling with this card for you, my love.
Love that.
Okay. Well, I've got the 2 of autumn, but the lighting here is shocking. Right, it says, so we've got there, look, which is quite ironic. You may be under stress because of multiple jobs or too many responsibilities for one person to manage. It's important to balance your work and personal life and bring a spirit of fun in all you do. You've also got the 4 of summer, which is the tortoise. which says, your responsibilities may distract you from noticing all the gifts that God is presenting to you. Be open to investigating opportunities that come your way. Now, this is very much feeling overwhelmed, okay, Christine? It's really a real feeling of overwhelmedness. And it feels like, you know, when you feel like you're juggling too many things and everything feels like, it's almost like you really want it all to stop, but it's just so you can think for 5 minutes. And I really want to say, if you can have that time, that would be absolutely brilliant. It feels like you've just got to start really prioritizing soon what you're wanting to be doing and what you're not wanting to be doing. I feel at the moment you feel like you have to be doing loads of things or under this stress, because it feels like, you know, whether it's money or situations or your job, it just feels like you and people actually putting upon you a bit. You have to stop and reassess, okay, and start thinking, okay, I've got to think about me long term. Even if you've got a lot of responsibilities that you can't help at the moment, this is know that it will come to an end. It was not going to always be this hard. And start prioritizing or planning what you do want to be doing when you get out of this, because you will be fine. It just feels like you've just got another few months of this, and then it's just going to start feeling a lot calmer with you. So Christine, just hold on to your hat at the moment and you'll be okay. It will be okay in about 3 months' time.
Interesting. So I think mine kind of brings both of those together a little bit there. So I feel like there is something inside of you, some sort of passion that you really want to work on. And it might be something a little bit different than what you're doing at the moment, because I do feel like you're a very spiritual person, a very caring person. You might do some sort of job like a nurse or a carer or something like that. But this card is saying that your passion will lead to your divine life purpose. So I don't feel that you are actually working within your pure purpose at the moment, but it is something that it's coming, and this card is just reminding you to do something that you love, have every confidence in your talent. And I keep going back to this, like caring, healing, that kind of thing. It's saying that learn everything that there is to know about your interests. So take classes, you know, find a mentor, do some research on YouTube, and basically just team up with like-minded people, because I feel like you've got a lot to offer and it's something that you're really passionate about. So it's something that you need to work on and just learn everything that you need to know. And yeah, everything will be all good. So I hope that makes sense, Christine. Let us know in the comments.
My throat's so dry. I think it's so... Leah's been in my little shed before, obviously before all this, haven't you, Leah? And it's because it's all lined, it gets really warm, and I was like thinking, oh,
like what's going on in there?
You start feeling like you've got to strip off.
So just moving on to different works of a medium then, let's touch a little bit about psychometry. So for people that don't know what psychometry is, it's sort of reading an object, isn't it? And it could be anything. It could be anything from keys to someone's necklace to anything. Literally, it's just reading the energy of an object, someone's ring, whatever it is.
What's the weirdest thing you've ever read?
What during psychometry?
Yeah.
Purposefully or non-purposefully?
Either.
Something that someone's given you.
I've had a library book before that I literally could not touch because it just felt horrible. Wow. Like it just made me really angry, and it wasn't the book. I mean, the book was like a romance or something, but just holding the book and trying to get into it, I could feel this irritation and this frustration and this real anger, which is just not me. And I had to just take the book back. I should have staged it maybe, but
maybe it was the last person that read it was a bit frustrated.
Yeah,
quite possibly, because it was a romance. It wasn't an angry type of book.
Yeah, maybe they were a bit frustrated in that department, and just it was all came out in the book.
I think possibly, yeah.
But it could even be that book was in someone's house where they had like just a horrible relationship with someone else, and just all the energy just got sucked in that book. So crazy, isn't it? What's the weirdest thing that someone's given you, Polly? Go on.
A pair of shoes.
Right.
And somebody, but I don't think this is actually weird. I think it was actually really lovely, right? Somebody that I've read for a lot of times now, and I absolutely love it to bits. She brought her mother's hair in. Her mother had cancer, and before she passed away, it had her hair cut off because obviously she was going to shave it, and it was like a ponytail. And you know what? Because that's actually somebody's DNA. Yeah. The reading from that was phenomenal.
That's given me goosebumps. I actually think that's really lovely. Yeah. Claire's just commented, going back to paranormal investigation. She said she was on a paranormal ghost hunt and the leader of the group started to deliberately goad and insult a male spirit. It was awful. I was in tears and told them to stop because I could feel their despair. That's really awful. Claire. Yeah, well done for sticking up for spirit, Claire, because that's exactly what we were saying. There are some groups that are really there for the investigation, really there for the science, really there to see some evidence that's indisputable. And there are other groups that are really just there for fun. And it is very different, isn't it? Yeah. And it's very different. It is, I personally don't feel that it is a space for fun when you're going on investigations and things like that. This is people, it is energy that you're playing with, and I think it's a dangerous thing to play.
Absolutely, because they think by ruffling spirits' feathers they're going to get more activity. However, you wouldn't go up to somebody's nan or granddad and just start an argument with them to get some information, would you? You know what I mean? That's that's the difference. You wouldn't. And I think you're more likely to get more out of spirit if you're respecting them.
Respectful,
than if you're not respectful.
Yeah.
I mean, I've thought if they're ruffling somebody's spiritual feathers up there, I'd quite like something to land on their heads. You know
I was just going to say drop on their head.
I remember once when I went on a ghost hunt years and years ago. This was in Scotland, and it was in an old haunted castle, and there was infrared lights everywhere. It was all set up properly, and I was getting annoyed because they were a really annoying spirit, and they were just trying to get a reaction out of them, and they did. The spirit ended up basically almost in a trance way, just taking over this person's body and started throwing things and smashing things off the walls, and the guy just he just was a different person, and then he ended up fainting on the floor, and everyone was kind of like, he deserved that, nobody expected it to happen.
No sympathy there,
because he was just totally trying to annoy spirit. So it just shows that they are there and they'll come through if they want to.
Absolutely,
if we need to see it.
It's interesting. Christine's commented and said that there was a cat that used to disappear every day, and to the amazement of its owners, the cat used to catch a bus. A book was written on it. There's a book as well. I don't know if it's the same book, Christine, called a street cat called Bob, which I've read, and
that's
it's
not
brilliant.
The same one. But
is that a different
that's
one?
Amazing, yeah.
I haven't seen the film of Bob, but that was a good book. And Kelly said, my old cat Susie was stolen from me. Taken from Chester to Huddersfield. Wow. 3 months later, she was at my door covered in oil. One hell of a journey, but she made it back to me. That is loyalty. Cats are loyal. I was only joking. They are loyal, really.
No, some aren't. Some aren't. You've got to be honest.
That one obviously is Kelly. That is lovely. Wow. I'm glad that she made it back. Yeah.
Let's give Kelly a card.
Yeah, let's.
And then we'll come back to Jeannie's comment. Let's give Kelly a card.
Okay. So, Kelly, again, my cards are jumping out for you. So is it all right if I go first, ladies?
Yeah.
Jumping in. I've got the Two of Water for you. This is about relationships and emotions. It often comes up, Kelly. I get the sense that there's, it might be in your personal relationship, or it might be with somebody that's close to you rather than a love relationship, but I feel as though there's some bridges being made. Like I don't know if there's been some tension or some conflict recently around your friendships or close friends or family, but I feel like there's small steps being taken, particularly through communication. So if it hasn't happened yet, it will happen. I feel that people will start reaching out via a message or a phone call and just kind of starting to build bridges, and it would be worth building those bridges rather than holding on to any grudges, Kelly, letting things go and letting it be kind of water under the bridge and trying to resolve that and move forward. That's the sense I'm getting, so I hope that makes sense for you and I hope that helps you.
Great. Polly?
Well, I've got completely different, not related at all. Okay. I've got the Ace of Pentacles and the Emperor. Now, these cards come up, Kelly, if you are possibly either looking for a promotion or a new job, this is also saying that because it's got the Emperor there, it would be either quite an important job or like supervisory or managerial. So I really want to say, if there's anything that you are hoping to get soon, okay, or hoping to go for soon, this is almost like a perfect time to do it. Now, I really feel like there might be, like a fight for a couple of people maybe wanting the same thing. So really, if this is the case, or you're looking for a promotion, making sure that you really sell yourself here, okay, and don't just sort of assume that it's yours. I want to say that there very much is something coming, but treat it like, even if it's like an informal interview that's coming up. This might not make sense now, but it will, okay. Even if something's that they say that it's informal, I don't think anything's ever informal. So this is be prepared, okay, for like applying for something, reapplying for something, going for something. This is like saying, yeah, have a lot of strength in this though, and know that you can. I feel like you need to sort of like believe in yourself, work up to something. You actually, Kelly, when you do get your head around it, I feel like you are actually really focused, but you probably do overthink sometimes. So definitely just go for it and know that you can. I really want to say there. Okay, Lia.
Because one card fell out and then I've chose one for you, and they both just sum up what you both said. So the first one that you've got is a romance card. There we go. So that's called Helper of Emotion. And that one is talking very much about romance blooming and finding yourself either falling in love or falling deeper in love with somebody that you're already with. It's saying that you're going to receive random gifts actually as well. And they're all going to be coming up within the next few weeks in your future. There might be some sort of marriage proposal around you. So if it's not you, it might be somebody close to you. I'm not sure if you've got a son or there's a young boy in the family, but that's who I'm drawn to actually with that marriage proposal. Weddings and possibly even past life connections are possible around you as well. So that's very interesting with the romance. And then the other one is going a little bit towards your job. So it's talking about it's a great time of success for you that's going to be coming up. All your plans are going to be blessed and will move forward perfectly. Unexpected job opportunities. So similar to what you were saying there, Polly, unexpected job opportunities will arise in the near future, and make sure to accept them. So it might not be something that you're actually even going for, but something might just come up. Someone might just ask you to step into this person, or would you do this? And you might even feel it's a little bit out your comfort zone, or it's not quite what you wanted to do, but I think it's going to open some doors for you. So make sure to accept them. This card is all about somebody that's got an amazing career, and it's a powerful person with great integrity. So go for it.
Kelly's just said, yes, I know, spot on, Polly. I know what you were saying. So there's definitely a bit of extra knowledge there that Lia's just given you, that there is something coming up job wise if you don't know about it already. So brilliant, absolutely brilliant. For Becs.
Perfect. Oh, excellent. Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you. Brilliant. Okay, so we have another little exciting clip for you to watch. So if anyone's just joined us, we just played a clip of a few orbs about 15 minutes ago, and we've got another one. So this one's a bit shorter. It's about 15 seconds long. Here we go. So this was just from recently, actually, last Wednesday or Thursday when we did the live. So here we go with that one. Oh, wow.
Oh, yes, I saw it that second time.
So people at home, you might not
play it again. I missed it.
But if you
it sort of comes across the front, like almost walks across the front.
Yeah. Gosh. The person's just walking.
It definitely looked like somebody just walked across the screen, didn't it?
Yeah.
And that was just at the studios.
So no
Can you
one's
slow
gonna
it down
do
any?
it this time.
Can you slow it down any more? I want to see if we can see. Oh, that was quick. He's running.
Okay, so just look closer. We're going to play it and then pause it if we can. Yeah, you've paused it just to the right of the screen there, I think. Oh, there we go. like a tall person. What do you all think at home? Do you feel male? Do you feel it's a female? I feel like it's a male, actually.
I feel like it's a male.
I feel like I need glasses. Oh gosh! I saw it then.
Yeah, that you could actually see almost
Yeah.
legs.
Oh, that definitely had a gate to it, like a walking kind of posture,
Yeah.
didn't it? That was weird. Interesting.
At home, there was no one in the studio at this time. This is just the what was left on in the studio when Richard left.
When Richard spies on the studio.
And we always joke about Richard's equipment because it often will like get ghosts and ghoulies and not work and do all random stuff, doesn't it, when it's got all the energy and things. So yeah, interesting.
So I believe you're going to be leaving the cameras on tonight in the studio, aren't you, Richard? What time will it be at, and are people going to be able to watch? Okay, so 8 o'clock tonight. If anyone wants to watch some crazy stuff happening in the studio, then join Richard at 8 o'clock, and you might be able to just pick up on something.
That is really interesting. Spooky.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So what I was going to say was, on the 6th of December, me and Polly are doing a trans demonstration. It is a ticketed event. All the information can be found on the SPTV Lounge website, Facebook page. Richard will tell us a little bit more about it at the end as well. Oh, there we go. So it's a trans demonstration. Non-patrons, it is £10. Patrons, it's £8. And Angel members, it is £5. So it's basically an opportunity to hear straight from spirit. Obviously, it's all an experiment. It's going to be with me and Polly. So Polly, do you want to tell people a little bit more about what to expect on this evening?
Well, sometimes you just don't know what to expect.
Like I said, it's all an experiment.
Yeah. With trance mediumship, if somebody hasn't seen it before, it's when we are going into an altered state, a deep altered state, and basically letting spirit energy blend with ours. Now, it doesn't tend to be usually your spirit loved ones. It tends to be our guides. That's not to say that it can't happen like that, as in, some people do channel people's relatives, but we at the moment are not. I haven't ever, not really. But yeah, my guides, I'm working towards deep trance mediumship, and basically when we let the energies blend, we will be, you at home will be able to ask questions to our guides. So anything that you've wanted to know about life, death and the universe, please ask them. And these Richard, either one of us or Richard will be reading out your comments and giving those questions, comments to the trance medium. Oh, so they can say it live. Okay, so they'll be able to talk. You'll be able to talk live, which I've not done Zoom before like this. So that'll be interesting. Great. So it will be really interesting to see what comes up. Questions that you maybe have wanted to know the answers to for years and years and years. Now me and Lia work quite differently, so you may get different experiences from each one of us. But that's the beauty of altered state work, is the fact that everyone is working differently, and you have, like I said, it's very interactive. You'll have the opportunity to ask questions that you maybe wanted to know for years, or somebody might ask that question that you wanted to know for years, and you get the answers that you need. So it'd be a really interesting evening.
Yeah, really.
Okay, so if we do not get more than 10 people participating, then we will have to cancel the show. So if you are interested, please get hold of Spiritual Psychics TV and through the Facebook page, and please book your ticket. Okay, not through Facebook,
but it's through the link,
through the link through Facebook. Yeah. And then we will make sure that your ticket is reserved for you.
There we go. So tomorrow at 12 o'clock, we have got the Ian Mason show. So that's from 12 o'clock. I believe that he will be doing some readings at that show as well. And then we've got Indigo's Oracle with Indigo Starseed, and that's mini readings in a different way tomorrow afternoon from 3:45 p.m. And then we've got Matt and Kirsty Grogan. I'm sure you all know Matt and Kirsty. That's going to be live mediumship. So that's going to be messages from your loved ones and Oracle card readings tomorrow night from 8 p.m. Brilliant.
Right, should we do some quick fire messages for a few people then?
Let's do it.
We'll do one each.
Who've we still got with us? Have we got any names, Richard?
We've talked to Kelly already.
Quick hello to
Oh,
Lisa.
Jessica's
Hi,
a
Jessica.
first-time watcher. The three of you are spectacular. Thank you for sharing such amazing knowledge. Oh, thank you, Jessica.
Thank you,
That's
Jessica.
really lovely.
I like you, Jessica.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi,
Hello,
Lisa.
Lisa.
Thanks for joining us. Yeah, hi, Crystal. Thank you
Hi,
for joining
Crystal.
us.
So we're just doing one.
Right.
Who's doing this one?
Yeah, one each.
One Becs.
Oh, they're not jumping out for me with Crystal. Right, here we go. Crystal, the Three of Fire, my love. This card is about things looking good, having patience, which I know everyone is hating getting this at the moment because of lockdown. But I feel that if things are feeling a little bit stuck for you, trust that they're not always going to be feeling that way. I feel like things are happening behind the scenes. So be very conscious to be looking forward and still making plans. Don't get caught up too much in the sense of lockdown and being stuck. Very much be making forward thinking plans, and also sometimes with this card it's about making travel plans as well, which I know sounds a bit odd with the pandemic, but that's what they're telling me, that there could be a possibility of making travel plans as well, Crystal. So I hope that helps for you, my lovely.
At Christmas, by the way, that is. There's something at Christmas and travel.
I got Christmas in my mind as well there.
They work so well together, girls.
Yeah.
Lynn Taylor.
You know this one, Paul?
I'll go into this one. Right, okay, Lynn Taylor. Let's have a little go for you. Oh, I feel like I need the bottom one. I didn't know what the bottom one was, but hey. Oh, right, okay. Lynn, you need to be firm with someone. There's somebody around you that I just feel like is either slightly putting upon you, taking advantage, or just getting you a little bit. And I feel like you've been really patient up to now, okay, that you need to it's definite put your foot down card, or just like it doesn't have to be in an aggressive way, but just in a sort of honest way. You need to start it's putting your foot down. Like I said, it might not be like the worst thing alive, but you just have to just put yourself as a priority at the moment. There's something else also that you've been waiting for here. I've got the Hangman. You're just going to have to like wait a little bit longer, some news or something coming to you. I do feel like you're waiting for something, or you will be waiting for something, maybe on a legal matter, or that you want to get sorted out. Okay, now this is going to get sorted out as well, but I feel like we're going into February. This is probably won't make any sense to you now, but it is going to make sense because I really feel it in my head. But yeah, putting your foot down and don't let anybody walk all over you, Lynn, at the moment, please.
That was good. Hopefully that makes sense to you, Lynn. You know what you've got to do now. All right, Sally Worker, here we go. This one is for you. Okay, I actually had two there, so here we go. Right, Sally, so this is for you. It's all about going within. So I'll show you here. There we go. Very similar to the Hermit card if you're talking about tarot. So this one's showing that you're actually a very intuitive person, and I did see that there just looking at your pictures. I'm kind of taken away from the cards for a second. I feel like there is somebody in your circle of friends that you need to sort something out with. That just came in my mind. So you're a very intuitive person. There are many wonderful insights that lie waiting inside you. Take time to be quiet and reflect upon the desires of your heart. Meditation or prayer. So just taking some time out for yourself, really, and possibly put some white noise on or some meditation music and just going within. And that thing with the friends, I just feel like there's a circle of friends, but there's maybe one of them that is sort of in and out of that circle. And it's just making sure that that person's okay, actually, and maybe bring them back into the circle. So it was a bit random. And the second card here, your life is about to start moving very fast. So events that seem to be on hold are suddenly requiring all your attention, and there's no time to sit and ponder. You've got to get moving. So something to do with work, just make sure that you review the details as best you can and just get ready to move very quickly. So go within, relax for as much as possible right now because your life's about to start to move very quickly. Hope that makes sense. Let me know.
Michelle.
Okay, so this is for Michelle Rhodanite now.
Oh, Michelle, I have got the Emperor card for you, my love, which is about taking charge of a situation and really kind of stepping up to the. I feel as though there's a situation around you, Michelle. I don't know if this is within your family, where you've had to be kind of biting your tongue for a while recently, and I feel as though you're actually needing to speak up and take charge of the situation, kind of role model some positive behavior moving forward. So I don't know if that makes sense to you, but that's the sense that I'm getting. The Emperor card often is about leadership, taking charge. It can often be about career, like Polly was saying earlier. There might be some new opportunities coming up career wise for you, like a step up the ladder career wise. But what I'm feeling intuitively is that this is to do with something within your family situation where you're going to have to role model a way forward and take charge of a situation rather than bite your tongue. And so I hope that helps for you, Michelle, and I hope that, yeah, you can take something from that.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say Christine. I must be psychic. Right, okay. Okay. Ooh. Oh gosh, we've got the devil. We've got the devil. Right, don't worry. Devil's all right. And also the Three of Pentacles just fell out after it. Okay. Now this is saying that I don't know if you've been feeling quite obsessive about something at the moment, or your brain feels very obsessed with a situation at the moment, or do you know where you can overthink like massively? And this is just saying try to step back from a situation. Now the Three of Pentacles is teamwork. Okay. Now there may be somebody in a situation here that within work or a situation around you that seems to be trying to take over. And you're either not being heard, okay, or you're the one that's sort of, you know, really enthusiastic. But I really do feel like at the moment you've got to be, you've got to make sure your voice is heard in a situation, okay. So especially around any work situations at the moment, to get further or to get where you want to go, you're sort of going to have to step up a little bit and be really vocal, okay, almost like I'm here with you, Christine, and making sure that you're not sort of a quiet one in the corner. You've got lots of good ideas, and this is saying to bring forward any further plans, you've got to sort of be vocal and tell somebody or say where you want to be into the future. Literally getting your face out there at the moment. It's definitely taking a stand. You've got to take a stand on something. But once you do, it might shock a few people, but actually I feel like you'll feel quite liberated and it will be a good result from it, okay? So definitely, like, if you've got something in your mind, something that's bugging you, especially around work situations, there is make sure your voice is heard. It'll all be fine.
Brilliant. Perfect. So we've got last one here for Heidi. I saw your comments coming up quite a lot, Heidi. So this one is for you. Here we go. All right. So you've got Guardian of Emotion. And just as I was looking at your picture there, I was picking up something about, I'm not sure if you've got a son or there's a young male in your family that might just require a little bit of support at the moment. I feel like it's somebody that's in school or in college, but just needs a little bit of a push with his learning and just maybe a little bit of support. So let me know if that makes sense. But you've got Guardian of Emotion. So there's a situation around you that requires emotional maturity at the moment. and total trust as well. You're surrounded by those who have only the best of intentions, so you can rely on the advice that you're given. So I'm not sure whether this is something to do with your family or your sort of close circle around you, but there's something going on where you're just not sure who you can trust or who has your best intentions. But I do feel that the people around you, you can trust them, and you can just rely on that advice that you're being given. Any challenges that you're going through at the moment will be resolved. You're a very generous person, and people can really depend on you. And I think sometimes you find it a little bit difficult to depend on other people, but you do have good people around you. So just go for it. And that person, that young male, let me know if that makes sense. I just feel like he needs a little bit of help at the moment, but everything is going to be absolutely fine. Just trust the advice that you're given. And there's a lot of people that around you that do really love you. I hope that makes
Can I just quickly just add, and I don't know why I'm saying this, but every time I'm looking at Heidi's name, I keep seeing a bee, right? A bee, like a bumblebee or that sort of bee. But I do feel like you might find a bee, which would be quite rare at this time of year. Okay. And it's like there's a bee being sent from your mother. It's important that you look up the meaning of a bee, okay, or spiritual meaning of a bee, because there's going to be a message in there, but it's from your mum. Okay. So when you find this bee or see this bee, and it'll be obvious because it's nearly December, you know, that it will be a bit weird. Okay. But in a good way, there's a message there for you.
Wow, how interesting.
And she has said that she has got 3 sons and grandsons, but her sons are grown up, and their dad is poorly in hospital, and her stepson is being a nightmare. So I think that was all very relevant for you.
Then yeah, because that part was nothing to do with the cards. That was almost like a message from spirit, just to watch out for him and just give him a little bit of support as well. So even though it's been a nightmare, I think he's probably gone through quite a lot. Yeah, and that's really interesting. So about the bee, Heidi, just look up the spiritual meaning of a bumblebee on Google, and something will come up for you. And hopefully, amazing. So thank you so much, ladies, for doing this topic with me. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too. It's always really interesting. I love our little chit chat.
I know.
Always really
and I love sharing with all of the peeps.
I love hearing everyone's experiences as well. So I'll be going back and reading all the comments as well. So yeah, thank you all. It's lovely to catch up.
Yeah, thanks for spending your Sunday afternoon with us, everyone at home. And if you want to watch the infrared cameras later on tonight, it will be streaming from 8 o'clock. So you can sort of watch and see if you feel anything around you, or if you see anything on the camera. But yeah, so we are back not next Sunday, but the Sunday after. If there's any topics you want us to cover, then please write them in the comments, because we will be looking through later. And everyone that got a reading, I hope it made sense.